Beneficent, the Merciful, who is recognized by so many and called by so many names. We all bear witness in the monotheistic religions that there is only one God. And we thank all of you for supporting the Saviours channel and our initiative. And the reason why we're here, as most of you know, and for those who don't, we've started a petition. And this petition basically is a demand that we would like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to be removed, as well as the Nation of Islam, from all hate group listings, starting with the ADL and Southern Law Center listings. Since they set it off, they were the ones who actually started this. We would like them to just take the first step and do the right thing. And there are reasons why. I think time itself has proven that they were in error. We'll get into that later, and we're speaking right now with our guest, Elliot Pasek, who is an attorney as well, a very distinguished gentleman, as you can see, and we're so grateful that you were able to attend. We're going to start the meeting with a clip, and this clip is very key because the minister in this interview with The Vault answered the question about anti-Semitism in a way that's pretty profound. And I thought I should share it with you before we got started. So let's proceed to the video. And again, thank you, Elliot, Brother Elliot, who is our brother in faith, for being here once again in a follow-up that is going to be very special. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You gotta wait till the end. You gotta stay with us. But he's here to give us a very special announcement, and you don't want to miss it. So
thank you, Fard. Great to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you for being here. Oh, yes, we're smiling for good reasons because unity is a good thing, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, when you unite, it's a beautiful thing.
We're united. We are united.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's go to the video. Let's hope everything works. We started a little late for technical reasons, and you know how it is. Doing something positive, there's always something negative coming in the way. We overcome that, though. So let's do it. Come on.
Minister Farrakhan, you have consistently denied being anti-Semitic, but the media has consistently portrayed you as being anti-Semitic. Why is that?
It is because Jews are very sensitive, as we are. And if someone is critical of Jews or critical of some aspect of what they do, the first thing that is used as a defense mechanism is that the person is anti-Semitic. So in my judgment, the Holocaust is used to create sympathy, and the term anti-Semitic is used to stifle criticism. I am critical of certain aspects of Jewish behavior. I make no bones about that. But that does not mean that I hate Jews because I criticize them. Jesus criticized them, but he didn't hate them. The prophets criticized their behavior. It didn't mean that they hated them. But criticism comes to all of us to correct our behavior and put us on a path that will make us more successful. My criticism of Jewish control, of black politicians, black organizations, black business, black thought, is a valid criticism, and I intend, by the power of Allah, to break up Jewish control over black people, period. We are not to be controlled by any other group of people. Otherwise, freedom is a mockery. How come you can talk about Italians or Irish people or Polish people or Greek people when they offend us, and nobody calls us anti-Greek, anti-Italian, anti-Irish? So if we criticize certain aspects of what Jews are doing, then just say he's critical of certain aspects of Jews, but don't say he hates all Jewish people. That's a lie. There is not one shred of evidence that Louis Farrakhan or those with me have done anything against Jews. We have just criticized their desire, some of them, who desire to control and manipulate black organizations, black politicians, and to manipulate the process of the United States government. We don't approve of that. I will continue to speak out on that. And as time goes on, when they understand that this technique of calling me an anti-Semite, a bigot, a hater, a violent man is not going to work. It's not hurting me with my people. As you could see, tonight the auditorium was packed with 5,000, nearly 6,000 people. 5,200 of them were black in Pittsburgh. Why, this is equal to the nearly 40 or 50,000 that came out at Madison Square Garden. So what is it saying? All the propaganda efforts that have been made by the press have not stopped these young people who put on this program tonight from bringing me here, and it certainly didn't stop black folk from coming out to hear what we have to say. And if you poll the whites and the blacks that were there tonight, 90% of them would say, I enjoyed myself. He's not at all what they have painted him to be. So what this does is discredit the media more in the eyes of the American public.
There is a perception that you are a very violent man. Yet when I look into your background, I can't find a violent act that you have ever committed. Why does that perception continue?
Well, when they create the image of a black person being a violent person and create the hysteria around me, where young Jews and others can come out and stand on a street corner on Pitt University campus and call for my death. And the press doesn't see these lily white, nice young Jewish boys and girls as being violent. They're just upset with that bigot. But that can be excused because that's white folks in their traditional pattern of calling for the death of another black leader. But this time, you won't be able to put that small time stuff over on me or on us. I will be alive and well. You know, America does not have the power to put me to death unless it pleases God. And if it pleases God, it pleases me. Notice that tonight, every report that came on television said how well ordered and mannerly the people were. At the Forum in Los Angeles, 19,000 people stood in line and waited for hours to get in. They were orderly, mannerable, no incident. At the Garden, they say 25,000, but there were between 40 and 50,000 people gathered around that garden trying to get in orderly, mannerable, not one incident. But I'm a violent man. And yet nobody leaves from the auditorium where I speak to commit one violent act against any white person, any Jewish person, any Jewish merchant. They go out into the night with the thoughts of what they heard on their mind to construct or reconstruct their own lives to make themselves better people. But of course, I'm a violent man. And this is because they want to prepare a violent death for me.
Should Farrakhan live?
No!
Should he be in the United States?
No!
He belongs where?
Libya!
Mordecai Levy, leader of New York City's Jewish Defense Organization, arrived in Pittsburgh the day before Minister Farrakhan's scheduled appearance. Although he seemingly attracted limited support, his street corner demonstration exemplified the anger and fear often associated with appearances by Louis Farrakhan. Mr. Farrakhan, why do you think people are so afraid of you?
Truth. makes those who are guilty of having deceived the people feel uneasy because they know the truth uncovers a lie and destroys it. Again, there are those who have always feared that someone would come along that black folk would really listen to, that they didn't control. And that would mean possibly the unification of the masses of black people, and this some fear as a sign of the end of their power and authority over our lives.
I believe that the minister is 100% truthful. Being a follower of the minister, as he represents the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I have witnessed the minister even tell us and give us a protocol when dealing with people who attack houses of God. That's right. We have a protocol. And that protocol is we do not allow people to attack houses of God, regardless of what house it is. It could be synagogue, church, mosque, wherever the voice of God is being taught, the knowledge of God is being taught, that's sacred ground. So even if a synagogue is being desecrated by vandals, that is a synagogue in a place where they are professing, it's assumed that they are professing the word of God as taught by Prophet Moses. That's our brother. So of course, Minister Farrakhan is going to say, hey, stand between any negative that's going to happen to any mosque, church, synagogue. And this is the training that we get as FOI, Fruit of Islam, the name given to the men who belong to the military training of Islam in North America. And as a member of the Nation of Islam and having witnessed this and follow this protocol, I would have to say that it doesn't fit the coat that they're putting on the minister. And so we're asking, brothers and sisters, for at least 2 million or more signers to go to saviorshelper.com or change.org/hands-off-Farrakhan and sign our petition, because our petition is going to show the world that the people are not duped. No, you'd have to be duped in witch's soup to believe that Minister Farrakhan is an anti-Semitic. After knowledge comes wisdom and understanding. And understanding is the action that we have right here before you of our unity, knowing that this has been a failed attempt to discredit the good works of the Nation of Islam. And just wanted to thank a few brothers and sisters who have actually signed our petition, which include Josh Muhammad, Aleem of Meet the FOI podcast, Public Enemies, Professor Griff, Brenda Robinson, Sagria, Williams, and Sean X and Wendell Muhammad, and the list goes on. And now, without further ado, we would like to open the floor for our brother in faith, Elliot B. Passett. And we thank you so much for being here. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me. And for it, I have to say the goal is peace among us. And I was impressed with the petition because it's on paper, it's written down. It's an expression of your thoughts and the thoughts of your faith, the Nation of Islam religion. And it's sincere. And when people of good faith say we're a religion, and we emphasize God and faith and community and joining together in prayer and doing good deeds and in marriage and family and children, that's something that we should take notice of. And the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, I've gone onto the website, and the Southern Poverty Law Center do good work, but they've identified the Nation of Islam religion as a hate group. And I don't believe it's a hate group. I know it's not a hate group because I am an eyewitness. So how am I an eyewitness? Because 3-4 years ago, Facebook was about to bounce off Nation of Islam from its pages. And I was curious, and that's what social media is all about. So I went on to the Nation of Islam pages on Facebook to try to take a look at what was being said. And as you may recall, I first communicated with you, and I said, Farad, or maybe I said Mr. Muhammad, I can't go on because the condition is that you have to be a member, a congregant of the Nation of Islam religion. I can't represent that. I am Jewish. And he said, fine, you're Jewish, I'll let you on the pages. And in addition to that, you friended me on Facebook. So then we became, and I accepted it, we became personal friends. So I could see your page, you could see my page. And that was 3-4 years ago. And everything I saw over the past 3-4 years is very spiritual and religious and positive and friendly and intelligent and thoughtful. And then I saw your petition. I wrote, I don't think anything. Well, maybe I think once I was aware it was Ramadan, I said, hope you have a peaceful Ramadan on the FB pages. But I just watched, and that's all. And then I saw your petition, which asks, with good reasoning, the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center to take you off their hate group list. And you know, reading between the lines of the websites of the Southern Poverty Group and the ADL, there's even a little bit of hostility towards religion there, which I didn't like. There's a little bit of a better word, mockery. There's a little bit of mockery in there, which I didn't like. And when you mock one religion, you're mocking all religions. You're mocking people of faith. And religion is so important to everybody. It's everything. And it's everything to me, our faith in God and our communities. All right. So I got very, quite frankly, I got very even impassioned about it. And I signed your petition very quickly. And I even decided to write a letter to the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center. And I thought that my letter coming from a Jewish lawyer in New York, who is an eyewitness, I'm an eyewitness to your Facebook pages over the past 3-4 years. I'm not just an observer, you know, reading the headlines, etc., and watching the media. I'm an eyewitness. And our religions, including my Jewish religion, tells us when you're a witness to something, don't be shy, step forward, seek justice. You know, as Reverend King said a couple days ago, when there's justice somewhere, there's justice. When there's injustice somewhere, there's injustice everywhere. And I would have been very uncomfortable being quiet and not writing a letter when, again, I have been an eyewitness to your Facebook pages over the 3-4 years. No anti-Jewishness, no anti-Semitism, no hostility, just Facebook pages with different comments about spirituality and faith and religion and all that. So would you like me to read my letter?
Of course, definitely.
Okay. You asked me to.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, a letter is a serious matter. A man or woman puts his thoughts down and you collect your thoughts, you think about it, you write it, you edit it again, you think it through, you change it. And I took it very seriously. I spent quite a few hours writing this letter on my loyal letterhead to the ADL and SPLC. And I hope they pay attention to it. So the letter went to Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League. And they do good work. They do excellent work. And they're against hate. And it went to Southern Poverty Law Center, to Margaret Wang, their president and CEO. They do excellent work too. But Nation of Islam definitely should not be listed as a hate group. Dear Mr. Greenblatt and Ms. Wang, your organizations identify the Nation of Islam religion as a hate group. Perhaps you can give this issue a second look. Nation of Islam recently posted a petition online asking that they be removed from any hate group listings. I hope you can carefully read and consider the thoughtful, sincere contents of the petition. And then I give the link. Nation of Islam caught my interest about 4 years ago. Facebook was thinking about banning Nation of Islam. I went onto Facebook to check out the Nation of Islam pages, but to do so, you needed to pledge allegiance to Nation of Islam. I can't do that. My religion is Jewish. I sent a message to the Nation of Islam administrator explaining that I am Jewish, reside in New York, work as a lawyer. Can I join your Facebook group? Very quickly, the answer was yes. At first, I mulled the idea of announcing on the Nation of Islam pages that I am an Orthodox Jewish man from New York, and if you have any questions or comments about my religion, perhaps I can answer them, and vice versa. We will advance the cause of peace between us. I quickly spiked that idea, spike means rejected, because I thought my words might be construed as a challenge and lead to a debate between our religions, breed hostility, and that was something I didn't want. So I sat back and just watched the Nation of Islam Facebook pages. What I've seen over the past few years is a religion of congregants who are devoted to God, family, and economic self-sufficiency. The Nation of Islam ministers preach faith, love, and respect for humanity. Nation of Islam is non-violent and has not been involved in the violent protests we have seen over the past few years from both the left and the right. And neither has the Jewish community been involved in this terrible violence that we've seen. I just added that last sentence right now. On YouTube, I've heard Minister Farrakhan say that he thanks God for the Quran and the Bible from Muhammad, Jesus, and Moses. The Nation of Islam clergy also preach strongly about American Black history and civil rights. These are issues which every American should be aware of and support. A few days after I learned of the petition, the rabbi in my synagogue on Sabbath morning spoke about the episode of Joseph, who was thrown into a pit by his jealous brothers. The brothers, quote, could not speak peacefully to him, as it says in Genesis, chapter 37, verse 4. That was the core of the problem. Not speaking to their brother led to a violent act. I suggest that by labeling Nation of Islam as a hate group, the era of the brothers of Joseph is being repeated. Labeling Nation of Islam as a hate group does not start a conversation, it ends the conversation. We need to talk to each other, and I commend Nation of Islam for basically petitioning to talk. The book of Psalms, chapter 133, suggests an alternative to brother throwing brother into a pit. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together. The singer and civil rights activist, Harry Belafonte, once sang a beautiful version of this biblical verse all the way back in 1959, and he sang it in perfect Hebrew, the language of the Bible. And then I give the link to that song. I hope you can carefully consider my views and remove Nation of Islam from your hate group lists. So I would like to add that it's important for us to talk. It's important for us to even sing together. I enjoy singing and music, as we all do. I don't think it's important for us to debate. Debate is not good. There's enough debate. There's enough rancor and hostility. And when we start debating even our conduct, even bad conduct, and we certainly shouldn't debate our religions themselves, it leads in the wrong direction. I think that the right direction is to talk peacefully on common ground, and perhaps also to seek the doing of good deeds, charity, good deeds, justice, helping each other. Because debate, I'm not interested anymore. I've never seen such hostility in our country as I'm seeing now.
I agree.
And so I wrote my letter, and I hope it works. And I hope there's peace between all of us, because we're all descended from who we call Avraham, in English Abraham, in Arabic it's Ibrahim.
Right.
And President Trump brokered peace agreements between Israel and Muslim countries. And those are countries with armies and navies. And these countries have been hostile to each other in the past. Thank God, we're people without weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be easier for us to make peace, right?
I think
And
clear point. It's clear.
Yep. No weapons, thank God. No crime. Say no to crime and say yes to family and community and God and faith. That's what I believe in.
Thank you so much, Elliot. This was, I can say, very monumental, as I mentioned that it would be. For everyone who's watching, I hope you're as elated as I am as to what you just witnessed and what is actually happening before our eyes. Minister Farrakhan has responded to many who have asked, why do you read from the Bible? Well, he would always say, if you believed in Jesus, who is mentioned in the Holy Quran. In fact, an entire chapter regarding his mother's life is in the Holy Quran, as all Muslims should believe in Jesus. We should have no problem reading the Bible. In fact, brothers and sisters, we are ordered in the Holy Quran to read the gospel. And it says in the Holy Quran that the Holy Quran is the shifter or healing for the gospel. And what is happening right now? A brother in faith from the Jewish community, Orthodox Jewish community, has come with the Nation of Islam through your brother, Father Abdul Salim Muhammad, to reflect that same spirit. And hopefully, by God's permission, you listen and take heed to what's happening before your eyes. It's a result of the work of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. Of course, Brother Farrakhan has done this by following to the letter the instructions by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who we believe is the Christ. But what you believe, as Brother Eric was saying, really doesn't matter. What matters is what you do. What you say means nothing. Like prayer means nothing without work.
Excellent.
I mean, it's honest. It's honest. It's honest. That's it. It's like you have to realize that it took time for God to create the universe. It's going to take time for us to undo the damage that has been done in his universe. And that's all by his permission, that he allows us the time to do it. We're all going to die at some point. But why not live while we're here for the cause of peace? That's what it's worth. That way, if you leave tomorrow for some reason and God calls you, you would leave with a smile on your face and leave in peace. You ever see animals when they die? They usually die curled up in a sleep, and they wake up and they're no longer here, and you wake up and you see your cat balled up and say, oh my God, she's not moving, the cat's not moving. But the cat left in peace. Why? Because that's a mercy from God. Because it lived as it was supposed to live. It did not deviate from being a cat. So why should we deviate from being fellow human beings, protecting the earth from that which is viral in a negative way towards our existence? I want to thank you so much, Elliot, for your testimony and the words that you imparted and shared, and for the letter that you sent on behalf of all of our people and the people abroad who are positive and want to do something right and make the corrections where they need to be. I want to thank you, honestly, from the heart, for
Thank you.
sending.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And I would add, Farad, that what I also liked about the petition, which I overlooked at first, there are two photographs. There's a photograph of the minister, Minister Farrakhan. There's also a photograph of a so far unidentified man who looks like one of my people, looks like an official Orthodox rabbi. And I have a good intuition for this kind of thing. He's got the white beard, the suit, the white shirt, and he's got the yarmulke on the back of his head, as I do. And I don't know who he is, but there's the photograph of a rabbi and Minister Farrakhan. That's it. That's an important message. It's a nice
Yes, it is.
It's a nice gesture. It's good, and we should be lenient and that's merciful and kind. And let's get along.
It's something, because you mentioned that, because I would like to expound on that meeting as more information comes in about it. Once I get it confirmed, I will share it with the community.
Let's find out who it is.
I not only have to find out that, but also the nature of the meeting, because there were several meetings that the Honorable Minister Farrakhan had.
Yes, I heard about it.
Orthodox Jewish community.
I happened to listen to the minister describe a meeting, and he was funny, and I was laughing very hard. He met Edgar Bronfman and Rabbi Mark Schneier, and they had dinner together. And Edgar Bronfman offered Mr. Farrakhan some alcoholic whiskey,
right?
And he said, "Minister, I own Seagram's. Would you like some whiskey?" He said,
right.
Mr. Bronfman, I don't drink. And then he said, "Would you like some orange juice? I just bought Tropicana."
Right.
He said, "Okay, I'll take the juice."
Right.
So that was very funny. The meeting didn't seem to work. in fact, I remember that in the talk that Minister Farrakhan gave about it was that he was asked to sign some document, some lawyer type document that would kind of like, that had terms and conditions and this, that, the other thing. Forget about it. That's not what sociability and friendship and getting along was all about. We don't need paperwork. We
Yeah.
need,
He was being pressed in that meeting to denounce the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said if that's what it's going to take for us to be friends, then that's the friendship that I do not want. And he explained clearly that he addressed this because the gentleman at the time, who invited the minister, that's a beautiful thing to invite somebody to dinner. But to invite somebody to dinner to force their hand into doing something that goes against their teacher, I feel is very, very foul in nature.
That doesn't work.
It wasn't something Minister Farrakhan.
It doesn't work. Sometimes lawyers are good, and sometimes lawyers should be pushed aside and just let the people deal with each other directly.
Right, in a peaceful manner. So, I mean, I just want to once again thank you, and really, brothers and sisters, for those of you who may be unaware, when the Brother Elliot came to our pages, it was clear that he was being honest, and that's why he was allowed in the group. He identified himself, and he was being honest and saying that he was a follower of Moses. Now, Facebook isn't the mosque, brothers and sisters. For those of you who are really concerned, it's a public venue. It's not something that we can really hold people against in any kind of way. But we monitor those groups because some of the people that come, they come as wolves in sheep's clothing. So we have to use our discretion. And I'm so thankful for the guidance of Allah that allowed me to see the goodness in this brother and allow him into our group. And I pray that we continue to please God, because today I watched on the news that Microsoft was about to lay off 10,000 workers. 10,000. And I had to bring this up, and I thank God for reminding me, because that means they're anticipating a depression. In fact, they mentioned that there was an anticipation of a depression, and so they laid off, or preparing to lay off 10,000 people. And I have to say this, in experiences, whenever someone came against me, God put them down. Whenever someone comes against the Nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan, or any righteous person, anyone, it doesn't matter the religion, God will put you down to humble you, not to destroy you, but to humble you. But if you don't humble yourself, if you continue to attempt to malign Minister Farrakhan, then he will humble you. And if you don't listen at that point, then you'll be dealing with the God who created the heavens and the earth. And I pity you, all of you who aren't listening. And with that said, I would like everyone who's watching to go to saviorshelper.com or change.org/hands-off-Farrakhan and support our petition. We need 2 million signers by February 26th, Saviours Day. So please, brothers and sisters, sign the petition. And I want to thank you so much, Elliot, for being here once again. And if you have any final comments, that will be a blessing as well.
I'm all good for it. God bless you, and thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much. And in the name of Allah, thank you, brothers and sisters, for watching, and continue to watch our program. Have a blessed day, and assalamu alaikum, and shalom, and peace, and all of that good stuff to all of you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, and good night.
Thank you for your support.